Uh-oh. See y'all. I thought the music was ready. The music not ready. Just joking. Hold on. Don't be laughing at me, y'all. Don't be laughing at me. See y'all. I thought the music was ready. The music not ready. Just joking. Okay. See what happened when we switch computers? Here we go. Here we go.
Welcome to Talks Tuesday, a series dedicated to empowering youth and families. This series is brought to you by SET Foundation Inc., where advocacy meets education for the betterment of young minds. Each month, we explore meaningful topics designed to inspire growth, spark creativity, and equip our listeners with tools they need to thrive. I'm Eleni Alvarez, your host, program assistant at SET Foundation Inc. This month, we're diving into a powerful theme: New Year, New You. Whether it's meaningful goals, developing healthy habits, or embracing change, this is your time to reflect, reset, and plan for the future. Throughout January, we'll discuss practical tips and strategies for personal growth, helping you to take the first steps toward becoming the best version of yourself. Let's turn resolutions into results and dreams into action. Over to you, Amaya.
All right, all right. Look, here comes Amaya. Look, here she go. Look, you right on time. It's turned over to you.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We are good.
Gotcha. Are we live?
We are live, girl. Look,
Okay. Okay, we're live. We're doing it.
she's like, we're doing it. Yeah, we're doing it.
Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. I'm so sorry.
I love it. Here, I'll start us off with our first question while Maya gets set up.
Okay.
So you guys have done so well having this conversation the last couple of weeks, and I feel like as we are talking about like that New Year, New You concept, right? You guys have hit like some really nice and some really hard points, and I think self-discovery is amazing. I think about like the conversation that we had with a group of students just yesterday, right? When we were talking about self-discovery. And it kind of brings us to this mindset. And I think this topic is very fitting because tonight we're talking about embracing change and growth. And I think it is such a pivotal thought when we talk about like how we embrace art or how we embrace the things that we encounter. How do you guys define personal growth, and why do you feel like personal growth is super important?
Honestly, I think personal growth can definitely vary from person to person. But my definition is more so just like noticing those little changes in which that goal that I'm trying to get to, like those steps become easier, you know? Let's say I'm trying to wake up early. It's hard, you know, getting up out of bed, you're so comfy, whatever. But it's like, you know, the first day, it's super hard, you know, you kind of leave the house late, whatever. But by the end of the next week, it's like it's almost like nothing. It becomes habit, you know? As soon as you start making that progress and it becomes a little bit more natural to you, to me, that's how I track my progress and my growth.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I think you need to have like discipline and to like you get so much sure on what you're gonna do for you New Year.
Yep. And discipline is so important, right? Because sometimes we lack it. Like we know that we want to do a thing, and when it starts to get hard, we no longer have the discipline to complete it. I think that's such an important concept. Is just making sure that we have the right mindset to be able to maintain the discipline that we need to complete whatever that personal growth goal is. I love that. I love that.
I think discipline is really interesting because once you start building it in one part of your life, it's easier to apply it to other parts. It kind of, you get used to the groove. It becomes easier to build on that. But, getting it's a little bit of a process.
Like, it's that habit, right? We're
Yeah,
breaking bad habits, creating new ones.
exactly.
And it gives you that ability to follow through with what you had set out for.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I love it. Y'all better come on now. Y'all gonna make me break out this collection plate early.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna kick us off with our next question. What are the most common barriers to embracing change?
Ooh, the
I think the
barriers.
hardest,
I think
Go
the
ahead.
hardest part is just trying to get started. To make up your mind that you're going to do it and then go ahead and follow through.
I think it
I
goes
agree.
back to that mindset. Like when you don't have the right mindset, that's always like your starting barrier, because you can tell yourself 1,000 times, I'm gonna do this thing. But then if you don't follow through and have that discipline that Alani was talking about, it never happens. And so it becomes like your biggest barrier, or not being motivated to do it. So like you may want to really do it, but you don't have the motivation and sometimes even the support to be able to do the thing that it is that you want to do. So I think some of those become most of your common barriers.
I think a really big barrier too might be something like intimidation. You have this giant project coming on and it's like, okay, I'm excited to start, I'm ready, but it's still scary, doing something you're not used to. What if I do it wrong? But you really just got to keep going with the flow, and this practice makes perfect, you know, just got to keep trying. But it can be a little bit scary. That's definitely a big one, at least for me.
Ooh, you said it though, fear. Fear becomes the barrier a lot of times. Oh my gosh, what about comparison? When you start comparing what it is you want to accomplish to somebody else's goals or what somebody else has accomplished when you look at them. So I think those are great ones.
For me, breaking barriers is it's going to be putting my trust in other people and trusting myself to say, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And you have to step out of your comfort zone a little to put your trust in other people. And even if it doesn't go exactly the way you want, there is probably a lesson to be learned. And that is a tough one. But sometimes there's fun along the way. And that is the exciting part. And that is also obviously fun, but that is also part of the change as well.
I agree
I
with
think a
that.
great way to overcoming those kinds of barriers is what Abby said earlier. Having that support group to really kind of put you up, and that helps you get past everything that might be stopping you or dragging you down and trying to get to where you want to be. Whether that be like family, friends, or even just supporting yourself, like Jackie said. It's very important, if not pivotal.
Definitely agree. I think something to add, I think it can be hard to embrace change when we get attached to how things happen or like what we're used to. Because sometimes we have to change, like not when we've like prepared for it, but when we're not ready. So I think that can also be something that's really difficult. All right. Next question. How can someone shift from a fixed to a growth mindset?
That's tough. Because I think this will kind of be that cliche response to a lot of things, right? It always depends on the person. and I think some people, that fixed mindset can sometimes be the I'm just not ready to make the change mindset. It looks good, but I'm not ready to do all the work to see it through just yet. Because sometimes it may not be that you don't want to do it at all. You're just not ready for it in that moment. So the best way that I can say to change from a fixed to a growth mindset is by just doing it. Sometimes you just gotta take the chance and take that leap of faith and step out on there and just do it. And always remember what you want your end result to be.
Sis, I'm sorry.
My brother, listen, you here. That's all that matters. Look, you ain't apologize.
First of all, what's up, everyone? Love, and more love to everyone. It's crazy when you start to try to do so. Me and my brother-in-law had this. Well, we've been having this conversation probably for the last 15, 20 years about getting out of a mindset and transitioning, right? So, just for an example, the conversations that we have revolve around like, you've been at a job for so long, maybe 10, 15 years, maybe even like just a year, right? But that 1 year, you've come accustomed to that cheese coming in every Friday or every 2 weeks or however it is. And you start to plan your life accordingly. Like, this is going to happen this going to happen this going to happen this, right? And it's almost like the hamster on the wheel. Like, that hamster is going to keep running in place. He's scared he doesn't know any better to get off, that he can like literally go somewhere if he gets off of that wheel, right? But he doesn't know that. And it also goes to I didn't make this up. It's a quote. I believe it's an African proverb. But like, if you want to catch a monkey, you put something that the monkey wants inside of a glass or something, and he has to ball his fist up to get that out, because he has to hold on to it. He doesn't realize that if he lets that go, he can get his hand out and then he can just break the glass and get what he needs, right? So if trying to remove yourself from a fixed mindset requires, one, you have to identify and reconcile that you're in a fixed mindset. That is the hardest part for anybody. I don't care how old you are. I don't care the person has to identify that they're in that mindset and that they actually want to do something different, whatever that difference is. Make more money, do a different job, be a different person. You know what I'm saying? So I think, to me, how do you change that? Is that individual first has to recognize that they're in that mindset, if that makes sense.
It 100% does, and I agree. Recognition is always your first step, because if you don't think that there's a problem, why would you want to change it, right? So this is how it maintains that fixed status, because you're not recognizing that it's even a problem. I agree. And great analysis.
Agree with that too. I don't know. I think sometimes too, the fixed mindset can stem from, fear of like not knowing, like, well, what is this going to look like when I do it differently? If I don't do what I've just gotten accustomed to doing. So with that, what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone who fears change?
Do it scared.
Mm.
I feel like a lot of things that we end up doing in life comes with some sort of fear. You decide to move to a new town. Sometimes you're fearful of not meeting the right people, or you're fearful of change. Kids going to new schools, right? It's fear of not having that comfort zone that you're used to, or the people that you're familiar with seeing around you. So now you got to walk in and make new friends and get to know new people and get adjusted to new teachers and a new classroom setting, a new school. We do a lot of things scared, but it don't make us stop, right? So if you walk into something or you see something and you're already fearful of it, it's okay. Do it and do it scared, and know that you can still succeed and be good at it. You know, you can still make growth and progress even when you're scared. So I would always say, do it and do it scared.
Sis, again, you're always phenomenal. Doing it scared. There was a movie called Run Scared Straight or Running Scared or something like that. And hey, I tried to print something, y'all, probably like an hour ago, and my printer went offline. Now it's back. So if you hear that in the background, now it's just printing uncontrollably. So yeah, now I got all these papers just flying out, but we good, don't trip. So understand this to the question of fear. Look, I'm fear. I'm trying to do this. I'm about to have all these papers just everywhere. So fear. So understand this when we talking about trying to operate through fear or our perception of fear, it's not a thing, right? Y'all can hear the printer. Fear is an emotion, right? Just like love, just like happiness, just like sadness, just like whatever, it's an emotion, right? And what comes with that is your definition. So you have an emotional intelligence connected to fear. So something happened a long time ago that got you or us or that individual with an emotional attachment in a sense to fear, whether that's burning your hand, whether that's falling off your bike, whatever it is. It's the unknown. And that's what fear is the unknown. And it's the emotion we have to control. Again, you have to identify that's what it is. So when we start doing about changes, whether that's career, whether that's education, whether that's person, right? You got to acknowledge that whatever you're feeling when it connects with fear is just your emotion. It's your emotion that you've been in some place fearful at some point. You've experienced something fearful and you don't want that feeling again. And then the unknown part of that just adds to it. So you have to understand that fear is an emotion and you can control that. And like Sis said, sometimes you have to operate within fear. Like, you know, that old saying, you conquer fear by fear itself, you not to be fair, all that stuff. You gotta be comfortable with working in fear. And a lot of people just ain't ready to do that. But if you can manage your emotions, just like you manage love, then you'll probably be better suited to manage the fear of the unknown and moving forward and making that change.
I absolutely agree. And it's like, if fear is based in the unknown, then what better way to move past it than to introduce yourself? You know, you pull your pants up and you go and you do it. And it's a little bit scary, but you know, you get it done the first time and it just gets easier after that. You're never really doing it by yourself either. You have your people behind you. You know, you're just growing as a person as you keep taking those steps.
I agree with that. I think something to add is, I don't know, for someone who fears change, I think it can also help to remember that like on the other side of what you're scared of, there's so many things that like you don't even have right now. Like you don't even know like how much it could change your life or how it could benefit you. So sometimes it takes like doing the thing that's uncomfortable to like get to like all these other blessings that you can't even like, you know, you're not even tapped into right now. So I think that can also be helpful.
Can I ask this question in response to your question? And I'll ask it to everyone. Because I think to go deeper, we struggle. I know I struggled when I was a young person with the rational part. So we sit here and we try to provide these answers, like Sis said, like, you know, face fear head or work within fear or, you know, recognize it or recognize where you are in the mindset. How do we rationalize that that it exists? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that's a vague question, but how do we rationalize that to say Okay, here I'm here. And then I think you said, Miss Amaya, about like going through the process to get to the other side, to get to the different you. How do we rationalize that? How do we bring that into the person we are and accept that that's what I have to do?
I oh, we're gonna go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let's
I was
go.
gonna say this is personal experience for me. I feel like whenever I've needed to like change something, there's a level of like unhappiness with where I am. So then the question becomes like, am I willing to sit in this unhappiness and keep doing the same thing that I know is not making me happy? Or am I willing to do something that makes me like uncomfortable to maybe get to a place where I'm happier? Like there's a potential there and there's no potential in where I am. So it's like, I guess that's a very rational way to like view it.
And that's a great response. I mean, a lot of times it's as simple as acknowledging it and knowing that you aren't the only one that goes through it. And I think a lot of times that's where some people end up getting stuck, is you believe that you're the only one that has a fear of that change or a fear of things changing around you, but you're not. Some of your friends probably having the same problem and the same issue, and sometimes it's just a fear of uncomfortableness. Because as like Smith said, that hamster wheel that just keeps turning has done the same thing over and over and over again. And you've gotten comfortable in that setting that now it's extremely uncomfortable to do something new. Why? Because you're fearing the unknown. You're scared of what's to come or what's about to happen because you can't put your finger on it, right? That hamster wheel you can put your finger on. You know, if I show up today, I'm going to get paid on Friday because it happens every week. And if I miss a day of work, then I'm going to lose at least one day of pay, but I may have the vacation time already saved up. So I know on Friday, I'll still receive the same pay that I would have received last week or the week before. So it is that I'm unsure of what is going to happen next because it is outside of my comfort zone, which is where a lot of people end up getting stuck. And it goes back to why Smith is asking the question, right? How do we get to that space where we're okay with knowing things are going to change? There's no easy way to answer that, but it really is about knowing that things will change, also knowing that you can't control every outcome. You can plan for any outcome, but it don't mean it's gonna happen that way.
Sis, that's phenomenal because that's where I was going next, right? Because again, just here posing rhetorical questions
Yeah.
about change and getting off the hamster wheel, getting outside your comfort zone. Is it is fear, when we talk rational, is fear the unknown or is fear the failing? Because if I get off and I identify that I want to do something different, what does failure look like? What does it feel like? I have to accept that. You know what I'm saying? So the unknown, like, yes, there, but then the failure.
Yep.
And again, I just pose those questions because I think it goes into all of this. Are you ready to accept that? And then understand that failure is a part of life. I was reading this thing earlier today about grades in school and how grades affect the psyche of students, right? You don't even see the big picture. You don't even see the effort and the work I went into doing this essay. All I seen was the result, the grade. And then that goes into when we trying to get off this hamster wheel, all I see is the cheese on Friday. I don't see the work that goes into it every day. You know what I'm saying? So we got to start understanding the practical part and the rational part. Are we ready to do the details? Because the details are part of the fear, they're part of the failure. So I didn't mean to convolute it, but it's so deep.
Look at it. Look, I think I need to throw some dollars in this plate
Let's
behind me.
go. Let's go. Cash money. Cash money.
I think that was good. I want to piggyback off of what you said, Smitty, about failure. So my next question is, what's the role of failure in personal growth and how can we reframe it? Because we've talked about failure on this podcast before, and I don't think y'all like the word failure. Or someone said there's no such thing, so let's talk about that.
It's true that failure, like, there's no such thing as that. I mean, if anything, you're not meeting the goal the way that you wanted to, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That just means you work your way around it. And sometimes great things come out of failure too, or failure. I think there was like some scientists some way back in the day, like Fleming, I think. But he was trying to do something, God knows what, and he ended up making a different thing by accident. And that different thing ended up being penicillin. You know what I mean? So it's like you can have one goal initially and you don't meet that and you fail or whatever, but in making progress around that and building yourself back up, it's like better things come out of that. Experience is what makes you a person, experience and learning and growth. But you're not going to get experience or growth if you don't, you know, mess up a couple times or have to work your way around something different.
I love it. It's all about what you learn from it and what you choose to do once you know what you did wrong or once you figure out what you did wrong. Sometimes you may not even know what you did wrong. But this is where your support systems should come in, because there should be at least somebody around you to be that honest person to tell you what they see. Sometimes we have that person, sometimes we don't. But I always like to solicit feedback from people because, again, where I may not see it as a failure, somebody else might. So it's all in how we choose to define that failure and understanding that mistakes happen. It's part of life. The only way you know how to switch up and make changes and be uncomfortable in the uncomfortable settings, right, is making mistakes and saying, oh, well, then how can I make it easier for myself later? What do I need to change? What should I fix? So mistakes, failures, however they come, they're all a part of growth and they're a part of learning if we choose to use them that way. So it goes back to mindset and how people choose to use those things that happen around them.
And I'm gonna follow up on that too quick. So do we really believe or subscribe to the notion that Thomas Edison went out or had Ben Franklin, whoever it was, went out into a stormy night with a kite and a key and electrocuted himself and discovered electricity? I mean, now whether he did it or not, he was fearless if he did do that, right? The folks that succeed are fearless, and failure is not in their vocabulary. It's a lesson learned. I know you guys are familiar with jelly beans. Well, we have the Jelly Belly headquarters over here in our county, and all of the ones that don't make it to the factory store or whatever, they're called jelly flops. And they make a ton of money off of these rejected failure jelly beans. Like, it's insane. You know what I'm saying? And that right there, I use that person because I didn't find out about that probably until like maybe the late 1990s, that you can go into Jelly Belly, the headquarters over here, the factory, and buy jelly flops. They're the same jelly beans, but they didn't make it to they didn't become king jelly bean, I guess. It was failures. They're failures. So I want to support the failured man. And you can go in there and buy the jelly flops for basically less than a penny on a dollar. And they taste exactly the same, So with that mindset, young people, if you're listening, don't be fearful of being a flop. You know what I'm saying? Because you can do the great things just like the jelly bean does. And see, I talk like that because it's important that you understand and connect to things that you can relate to. This is not just millionaires and billionaires. A jelly flop is nothing. It starts from nothing and it ends up doing the exact same thing that something else did. You know what I'm saying? And your mindset, you have to believe that you can be the jelly bean, even if you don't look like the jelly bean, even if they don't call you a jelly bean. Now, hold on, let me say this, because see, there's an image or a notion or a pre-described thought process that goes with successful people. I tell you right now, when I wear my hat like this and I grow my beard out and I wear a certain attire and I go out into the universe, I might not look like success, right? I might look like failure. So you have to understand, do not limit yourself by someone else's definition. And what you may perceive as failure is actually, like someone said earlier, I think it was Miss Tasker, that said that's how you learn. Your lived experiences now become your energy and your pathway to your success or whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? So don't let what someone else's description or definition of something looks like be your own. And if you got to go out and bump your head a million times, go ahead and bump your head a million times. It'll be profitable in there. I bump my head a lot of times, like literally, physically. Probably explains a lot of things, but go ahead.
I 100% love that. I love that. Look, you done added some dollars to this play. Come on, Smith. Look, this side, yo, this side.
I love it. Okay. We're gonna pivot, get a little more personal. So, can anyone share an example of a time they experienced significant personal growth?
I would
You
say,
got it.
honestly, probably when I went to college the first time, I mean, I moved out when I was 18. I grew up in Miami and ended up coming to Orlando. So I was completely by myself up here. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anything. I'm like fresh out my mama's house. I don't know how to cook or clean. Like this is crazy. You know what I mean? But it was really scary at first. I was looking up recipes. I was mixing cleaning chemicals that I should not have been mixing. Yeah, no, don't mix bleach, guys. But my point is that it's scary to be on your own, at first, but as you continue to live it a little bit more and you start growing that group of support around you, it becomes a little bit easier. Um, Especially academically, it's a whole new process. It's a lot more rigorous. The qualifications that you need to meet are crazy, but you keep growing, you keep trying, and sometimes you fail, and that's where you take that chance to learn. But independence is a good thing, and you get older, you learn. I don't know. It was scary, but I made it somehow. And I'm here now. So I'll take that as a good thing. I got here one way or another.
Because you kept going, girl, you ain't give up.
Yeah, it may not have gone like as planned completely, but like what even is a plan? Like you just live it, you go, you make it work with what you got. And that's that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'll even share mine. A lot of people often ask, how did the organization start? Right. And so I never planned for us to have a nonprofit. Like that was never part of that was not part of my plan at all. And so over the years, I'd created multiple businesses and placed them in a binder. Okay. So not for nothing, y'all. I love my mama. She on screen. Look, she's smiling and things. I love my mama. So she would always ask, hey, baby, all them little nice little notes you got in that there binder, when you plan on starting one of these? And I'm like, it ain't the right time. It's not time, and it's just not on my side. Like, we are not doing this yet. And that was fear talking. I was scared to start it because I was scared to fail at it. Right. So I found all the reasons and all the excuses why I would never start one. And y'all, it was like 4 businesses in that binder, fully written out with business plans, whole nine. So mama came one year, and here I am in my master's degree, studying for school. Baby, that binder sure got a little thick over here in the corner. You got it sitting off in this closet, but I would surely like to see you start something before I die. See how she did me, y'all? Y'all see what she did? So now she's going to instill a different level of fear. So I'm like, what you trying to tell me, mama? Okay, no problem. That weekend we was a registered business. But it took me to step out on faith because she had to light that fire in me. She didn't tell it to me because she wanted to scare me straight, but it was that motivation that I needed just to get us started. And along the way, I met some amazing people who have been the backbone of us continuing this organization. So we had a consultant that came along and helped us turn it from a for-profit into a nonprofit, because we really are about serving our community and doing community work. And so that's how we got here. That's how we are doing the things that we are doing. But it took me to do it scared, right? It took me to do it while in fear. And even if I failed at it, at least I tried. And so that was the mindset that I had to take on. So when we think about like personal growth and doing things and doing it scared, you guys, you can do it. And when you mess up, just pick up another piece and start over. Look, there's challenges every day in these nonprofit streets, right, Smith? But we here, we doing it.
every day. I want to say thank you to Mama Darlene for the inspiration. It goes, I think sometimes when you talk about personal growth, sometimes other people are involved. I mean, that's just a fact. Because again, if we go back to the original, sometimes with that individual person's not ready to reconcile where they're at. And sometimes you might need some external motivation. For me, real quick, because I know we're running out of time, my personal growth, I think it was like 2001. I had been at a specific location for a long time, worked my way up the corporate ladder. I was feeling great. Life was good. Just bought a new house. We had our youngest son who was a baby, born new. And I remember seeing this piece of paper with my name on it as I walked by my manager's desk. And I asked him straight up, hey, yo, what's that mean? Oh, nothing, Smith, you good. Bad. Say less. 2 weeks, no, 2 weeks later, I get a letter or email. Hey, meet us at the hotel. Boop de boop. I walk in the hotel, 30 people in there. They let us all go. Boom, out of here. And I remember my manager called me that evening after I got the notice, and he tried to apologize. And I was sitting on the floor. My wife was braiding my hair. And I said, dude, if you ever call me again, it's going to be a problem. And I knew right then and there that I would never work for somebody and be a number again. I needed to be, if I was going to fail or like, if I was going to succeed, I was going to succeed on my own. I was not going to let nobody else dictate my financial success, my personal, my career development. And like Sis said, man, I got to it. I was working, trying to build a business. I don't even know what a business looks like. I was doing construction work just here and there. I was doing whatever I could, just bought, like I said, bought a house, had our third child. Was no time to be fearful. Was no time to be fearful. Slow feet don't eat. So I had to get out there, do what I had to do. And eventually over time, kind of got my feet right. But it's a progress, man. And personal development is painful. It's a lot of sleepless nights. But you got to, and again, like Sis just said, even today, I still struggle. I was telling somebody the other day, some kid, like, what are you, an entrepreneur? Oh, entrepreneur? If you like weekends, don't be an entrepreneur because ain't no days off, ain't no time off. You know what I'm saying? Today, hey, listen, I work. Y'all don't even understand. Schmidt be on the grind 24/7. When I'm sleeping, I think and dreaming of how I'm about to come up. You know what I'm saying? So personal growth, man. Yeah, like I said, mine's happened in 2000 and it's still happening. Today, I still learn stuff to try to better myself and my legacy. Because that's what your personal growth is, it's your legacy.
Smith, sleep. What's that? Who that? What that at?
I don't know. Hey, how you see me is how I be sleep, just like this, just in case. Just in case.
I'm proud of y'all. Just keep going.
I ain't got no choice. I'm gonna keep going. I ain't got no choice.
We're doing great. Thank you for that. Um, Well, I think Abby, you touched on a little bit about, having who you have around you and that being able to push you to go into, conquering your fears, doing something different. Um, how does surrounding yourself with positive influences encourage growth?
Man, you find somebody who wanna inspire and encourage you and push you, you gonna feel like you can touch every star in the sky, okay? Listen, mama's motto to me was always, go be anything you want to be, baby. And look, and I tried to touch every single star I could touch.
Hey, teamwork makes the dream work, baby. You know what I'm saying? You better get the right folks on your side. Hey, you know what?
When you're
Hey,
surrounded,
go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's funny about the mindset because I had a lot of positive people in my ear since I was a little boy. My grandmother, my pops, cousins, uncles, like giving me all the energy. Sweet, you can do this shit. But I blocked again, it's the mindset. When you don't believe in yourself, it don't really matter. But to have people around you to supportive, those are the ones. Those to help you realize who you are. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like to have a good group around you is super important, especially if you consider the alternative, having a bad group around you. If you're surrounding yourself by the wrong kinds of people, they will put you down. They will drag you down, and that bad, you won't even notice, like you'll think it's the normal. You know what I mean? You are who you choose to hang out with. That's something my mom used to tell me, and I'd be like, oh, mom, like you don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't say that to her face, obviously, but I would think that in my head, I'm not trying to get in trouble. But as I got older, it kind of made sense, when you step out that bad circle, you see the good and you're like, wow, I really love having these people in my life telling me, supporting me or doing, good things. And it makes you want to do better, even if you're just watching them. It's cool.
Hey, sis, help me with this one. Ain't that saying, show me your friends and I'll tell you about yourself? Or something like that?
Yep,
You know what I'm
yep,
saying?
yep.
Real spill right there.
It's so true. Look, that other thing, you are the company you choose to keep. Yes, yes, very true. I love it.
Yeah. Turns out it was true. Who knew?
Now who knew?
I think
Look, your
that,
parents too.
yeah, oh man. I think that just about wraps up the time that we have for today. So I'm gonna head over to our little outro. Here, let me find that real quick. Okay, so thank you guys for joining us this month as we embrace the theme of the new year, new you. Starting fresh isn't just about making resolutions, it's about creating those meaningful goals, building healthy habits, and embracing new growth. Whether you're planning for the year ahead, reflecting on your journey, or even stepping into new opportunities, these steps will help you build a life full of purpose and progress. So we got to make this year one to remember. Before we go, don't forget to check out our exciting events at Steps Foundation. We are so excited about what's happening this month in our programs. We're focusing on career readiness, which is just equipping students with the skills and confidence that they need to excel in their future professions. Very important. And if you're a current or incoming high school student, we have some pretty good news. Our youth program ambassador applications for 2025 to 2026 school year are now open. So this program is all about leadership, advocacy, and making an impact. As an ambassador, you'll have the chance to empower, inspire, and lead within your community. So to learn more, check out the upcoming information session dates on our social media or our website. Applications are open now through April 15th, so don't wait and start your journey towards leadership today. You can find all the leadership details by visiting www.stepsfoundation.org or by following us on social media at Steps Foundation Inc. So thank you for spending time with us. Remember, every day is a chance to start fresh. So together we can make this year a new one of growth, purpose, and achievement. So we can't wait to see how you take what you've learned and turn it into action. Stay connected with us by visiting our website or following us on social media. Until next time, guys, take care and we'll see you on the next Talk Tuesday. Bye. Thank you, guys.